And thanks for staying with us. Let's talk about what's been happening in Parliament all throughout the day, because Chairperson of Parliament Ad Hoc Committee Samuel Atacha is dismissing allegations of bias by lawyers of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, who've described him as being biased. Lawyers for the IGP are resisting any attempt by Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee probing the alleged plot to remove the IGP to invite any external witnesses. The committee continues the in-camera hearing case today, and all witnesses are expected to tender their evidence, including witnesses who are going to testify. But lawyers for the IGP are of the opinion that their testimonies have no relevance to the investigations, while insisting that the committee has completed its work per the terms of reference given by the Speaker of Parliament. Well, my colleague Samuel Mbura was there earlier and brings us the inside story.
The investigation into the alleged plot to remove the IGP has revealed intriguing revelations from the witnesses who have testified during the public hearings. Chief Daniel Bugri-Nabu, the central figure behind the tape, has shared his motivations and the story behind the recording. Senior police officers COP Alex Mensah retired and Superintendent George Asari have also given their testimonies and requested an in-camera hearing to provide further details of their allegations. Even National Security Minister Albert Kandapar was invited and shared findings but declined to submit documents as evidence, citing national security concerns.
It's an interim report, but he will not share it with us, because if you care to know, it's a national security document. It's not declassified, and in terms of law and the constitution, there's no way we share it with that.
The committee took a substantial break to review and analyze the evidence presented to it. It resumes today for a comprehensive in-camera hearing. However, ahead of the hearing, lead counsel for the IGP, Kwame Jan, expresses dissatisfaction with the committee chairman, Samuel Atacha, and signals strong opposition to inviting external witnesses.
The chairman is operating as if he is a sole commissioner, and we are going to use all necessary legal means at the hearing not to accept this, and I will protect my client's interests to the best of my ability. This is my oath as a lawyer. And we would resist any attempt by the chairman or the committee to bring any extraneous persons to come and testify.
On the other hand, lawyers for Superintendent George Asari challenged the IGP's legal team to resist the invitation of external witnesses if they have nothing to hide.
To say that you are going to resist, it presupposes that maybe you have some skeletons hiding in your cupboard and you think these witnesses are going to expose you.
Meanwhile, the lawyers representing the IGP accusers have written to the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee requesting protection for their witnesses during testimony. Tensions seem to be escalating as the IGP's legal team has vowed to approach the hearing more assertively.
But we are not going to go ahead with kids' gloves in the subsequent proceedings. We would not.
Are you ready for a showdown?
I won't say showdown. This one will be a show up. Showdown has been abused and battered.
Expectations are higher for the in-camera hearing scheduled for 5 consecutive days and expected to conclude on 10th October, and it is anticipated to bring closure to the ongoing investigations. Samuel Mbura, Joy News.
Also, how did activities unfold for day one of the resumption of hearings at the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee sittings? Joining me now in studio is Samuel Mbura, who was there throughout the day, and of course, you got a high five there from the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare.
Exactly. So mostly when he arrives,
excited about that, by the way.
Oh no! Mostly when he arrives, he gets some level of morale from his people, and that's what he was doing. They line up. They salute him, they exchange pleasantries before he moves in. So from day one that he appeared before the committee, that's what his
used to doing.
Home up members do. So
I see.
It's not actually a new thing that happened or that has happened today. Okay. It's something that he does with his men whenever he arrives.
Just maybe one day, you never know. He might be on the pulse. I'll give him a handshake.
Exactly, surely he will.
Okay, let's talk about day one now. Lawyers of the IGP taking issue with the chairperson of the committee, Samuel Atacha, and they believe that, well, you've completed your work. The Speaker of Parliament asked you to simply check the veracity of the audio.
Exactly.
that involves Bugrin Abu, Alex Mensah, COP, retired, and Superintendent George Asari. But the committee wants to go beyond that.
Yeah, so those are the claims of the lawyers of the IGP. They are of the firm conviction that your terms of reference is for you to establish the veracity, like you said. You have been able to do that. You've been able to unveil the faces behind the leaked tape. So why don't you go ahead and write your report to Parliament, what you have uncovered so far? So they think that extending it to other witnesses is more or less putting the entire Ghana Police Service to trial.
Yes.
So why don't you limit it there and then get the evidence that they have presented, scrutinize it, and based on that, that will inform your decision going forward in presenting your report and recommendations. And that is why they think that the comments, one of the sittings, I think the last sittings before this in-camera hearing, the chairman of the committee said that it has come to the realization, he used the word that what was presented to the committee was doctored. Yeah. It was based on that ground that lawyer Kwame Jan said those comments are prejudicial because they have not all had the benefit to listen to a new tape. So how can you conclude that the tape currently before the committee is a doctored one?
In spite of that, the IGP still appeared before the committee today.
Exactly. So all witnesses appeared. The principal witnesses appeared before the committee. We had Bugri Nabu, whom we know is...
he was there today?
Yeah, Bugri Nabu was there. We had Superintendent George Asari, one of the police officers. COP Alex Mensah was... Interestingly, I didn't know where he passed because I was trekking around the two entrances to the floor that this probe is going on, but I never saw him. But I saw George Asari also coming with his team and the IGP coming. But the IGP took an earlier leave because we understand he had another national assignment to attend to. So it just lasted like some 20 minutes in the committee, and then he was granted leave by the committee to go and attend to the other important issues that he raised before them.
So, for now, we know that day one we're done with the activities, but the lawyers of the IGP are still not happy about some of the happenings. What have they been telling? Exactly,
Blessed. This is actually the day one of the in-camera. the day two of the in-camera hearing, because we know that the first one was the Minister for National Security, Kandapa, who appeared and testified, but he refused to tender in documents as evidence. Yeah. So day two of the in-camera hearing, they were expecting that the accusers of the IGP will appear with evidence or their witnesses. However, that did not happen. So Mr. Kofi Bento, who speaks for the legal team of Dampare, said that it is an overstretch and they are really disappointed about the whole process so far. Maybe we can just listen to him. Ben is near short. Some of the senior police officers who are joining the IGP's arrival at the Parliament for the continuous probe into the leak.
This is where some of us have a problem with this whole thing. If you have to bring the head of Ghana security here to come and listen to his subordinates as to whether they have some evidence concerning his work. In the first place, if you're a serving police officer, there is a process to use. It is not this place. So again, our concerns remain. We want to assist Parliament to achieve the goals of this committee, which is to deal with the issues concerning the conspiracy to remove the IGP, which was captured on the tape. And all the pertinent issues regarding that have been dealt with.
For purpose of clarity, is it a fact that the committee chairman blocked the POMAP members from accompanying the IGP?
I wouldn't say he blocked them. This was a hearing in camera. And so if you don't have a reason to be there, you're not supposed to be there. And a very important point has to be made about POMAP. The IGP has not been summoned here in his personal capacity. We will have to keep repeating that. POMAP is the group that manages the Ghana Police. Some of the questions being asked properly have to be asked POMAP. And wherever these issues arise, in fact, the answers of the IGP, the responses of the IGP, the conduct of the IGP reflect on POMAP. He does not work alone. So POMAP came here because this is about them also. And so they entered the room. Indeed, it is our argument that POMAP should have remained in the room. And even if the IGP had to leave, he could have left certain members of POMAP there to answer certain questions. But when we went in, the chairman said, well, it is supposed to be in camera, and therefore not everybody ought to be there. Again, out of abundance of respect for the Speaker of Parliament, for Parliament, and the committee and the chairman, POMAP members agreed and excused themselves.
Do you think that was a fair decision by the committee chairman?
It is my view that it was a compromise. But it is also my view that we should not limit state institutions to individuals. And I repeat, the IGP is not here in his personal capacity. He's here as head of police. And the proper group that manages the police is POMAP. So they were properly here and they could have properly been in the room. Indeed, there will be answers that maybe the IGP will not have immediately. Like I keep saying, there are 50,000 people in the police service. There are regional commanders, district commanders. Some of the things that are being leveled against him happen in some region and they are the subject of other inquiries. So clearly he will not have all the answers and that's why he needs POMAP. But yes, when the chairman requested it again, out of abundance of respect for the chairman, they excused themselves.
Will you allow your client to appear before the committee tomorrow?
Again, I will take instructions from my client. My client's instructions are that he wants to absolutely cooperate with the committee. And to the furthest extent, he wants to be here. I have to say that it is not always even in the interest of, I think, the nation that he leaves his duties to be here. For instance, tomorrow, the chairman says we should be here tomorrow to come and see if there is new evidence. And the question was asked, so we should get off what we are doing, come and sit here. What if there's no new evidence? We'll come, sit here, they say, oh, there's no new evidence, then we all go home. We don't think that is proper use of executive time of the IGP.
Okay, Kofi Bentil there, explaining why they have issues with the chairperson of the committee. We'll hear from the chairperson of the committee shortly, but there's this incident he keeps referring to about the police management board also being part of the in-camera hearings, because the chairperson of the committee did not allow that to happen. Explain to us.
So it is not only the board members of, the police that were not allowed.
Right.
Now, today's meeting was with witnesses involved. So you, the witness, and your lawyers appearing together for the committee. So it is an in-camera one. So the chairman was of the view that since the POMAP, the accusations are not against POMAP members, not against the Ghana Police Service specifically, but Dr. Akufo Dampare, he alone is supposed to appear before the committee. A reason he asked that they wait for him outside, they will deal with him and then come back. But the lawyer there wasn't happy. He felt that it was a compromise. He felt it wasn't fair.
And why do they keep, going back to that same point, having issues with the chairperson of the committee?
Well, we don't know the established reason yet, but they think that the chairman, as I said earlier, has a hidden agenda against their client, but we don't know exactly what this hidden agenda is.
This is supposed to be the Honorable Samuel Atacha.
Exactly. So he has also been responding to that. He described it as baseless, and he says it is not someone who is outside the committee that will teach them their work. We can listen to him addressing the press after the sitting today.
The IGP, we send them away, and they use this as a ground to base the argument that you have been...
No, the committee felt that because we said we are doing the matters in camera, you understand, it will not be fair for non-witnesses to be present. That was the thinking of the committee. What is the meaning of the in-camera? We would have brought you there because you are also not going to testify. You are just, members of the, press. So what is it? Discrimination here. The members of the press are not being admitted into a small chamber here. Why should we admit senior police officers who are not going to speak to come in there? So these are some of the, excuse me to say, incongruous, and some absurd positions people can, say and get away with it.
Yeah. Chairman, let's talk about witnesses. One, I expect that Asari to be...
The committee will make a determination as to whether the intended witnesses and what they want to say bear relevance to our remit. If not, then we are on a wild goose chase, but that's not our remit. If we are not careful to, some people who want to settle personal scores with the IGP will use this platform to do so. And we are wiser than that. We are not going to, as going to say, be so elastic in our orientation that the whole of our time we spent on, if you like, non-essentials.
The perception out there finally from me is that your committee is digressing. You are digressing from the details of, in terms of reference of the
Well, I think the one who is the greatest thinker of the world will say so. And he is very, very intelligent to say that all of us are wayward, and he's the most intelligent person to show us how we should work. I know where it's coming from. It's an absurdity, and that person should refrain from dictating to this committee. Yes, no matter how exalted he thinks, you know. Yes, I've never seen anybody who is in the football match trying to determine the rules of the game.
Yeah, Samuel Atacha is not taking any more of that.
Exactly.
He's not happy.
Yeah. So that's the explanation he gave. That's
I see.
They pull him up and then they...
Okay, so it does suggest that something else will happen tomorrow.
Exactly. So tomorrow the probe continues. As you heard the lawyer for the IGP, Kofi Bento, the committee chairman has asked that they should come tomorrow, all of them, to respond to any possible evidence that will be brought by the witnesses. So we are not certain as to what will happen tomorrow, but all witnesses are supposed to appear before the committee.
My colleague Samuel Mbura getting us the latest on this parliamentary ad hoc committee seatings. Will definitely update you and give you the latest tomorrow.